You ever think your life is calm, predictable, and just peaceful? Yeah, that's how I felt for a good chunk of my life. Until one Tuesday morning, let's just say, everything changed. My name's Charlie Michaels, and I work as a tech consultant. I've been living in this quiet suburban neighborhood for about 3 years now, and honestly, I couldn't ask for more. I'm in my 30s, got a solid job, a decent house, and a two-car garage that's kind of my pride and joy. It's not just a place to park, it's my sanctuary. I've got my 2021 Ford Mustang, pristine and shining, and my pride and joy project car, a 1978 Chevy Nova that I've been restoring for months. I had my life in order, at least. I thought I did. That is, until one September Tuesday that really opened my eyes to the kind of people I was living around. It all started when I forgot my laptop charger at home. Pretty typical, right? Nothing out of the ordinary. But as I was driving back around 10 a.m. to grab it, something felt off. I pulled up to my driveway and noticed my garage door wasn't fully closed, about 8 inches of space. Now, if you know me, I'm the kind of guy who double-checks everything, especially when it comes to my security. My father worked as a cop for years, and I guess that's where I got my overprotective streak from. So, I parked my car on the street, and that's when I heard it. Music. Not just any music, but that soft, calming meditation stuff, you know the kind. Soft chanting, slow breathing, the works. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. But then, there was more. Grunting. Yeah, grunting. That's when I started to wonder if I was dealing with a break-in. So, instinctively, I thought about calling the cops, but curiosity got the best of me. I slowly walked toward the garage, crouching behind my neighbor's hedges so I wouldn't be seen, and peeked inside. And there she was. My 50-something-year-old neighbor, Gwen Lewis, tangled up like some yoga pretzel on my garage floor. She was wearing these purple yoga pants and a neon green sports bra so bright it hurt my eyes. Her blonde hair was thrown into a messy bun, and she was completely oblivious to me, lost in her zen moment. She was using my garage as her personal yoga studio. I stood there, frozen for a moment, trying to process what I was seeing. I mean, who does that? Who just walks into someone else's garage and starts doing yoga without asking? Gwen, she lives just across the street with her son, Justin. We'd exchanged pleasantries in passing, hey, how's it going, at the mailbox, or a quick chat about the weather, but nothing that would have hinted at her being this invasive. She seemed nice enough, but I guess I was wrong. I don't know how long I stood there, trying to figure out what to do. I wanted to rush in, confront her right there, but that wouldn't have been smart. So, I decided to wait, to gather more evidence. And I'm not proud to say it, but I was angry. Really angry. This was a violation and invasion of privacy. So, I spent the rest of the day setting up cameras in the garage. I changed the code on the garage door opener, added locks, anything I could think of to stop this from happening again. The next day, I went a step further. I stayed home from work and parked myself at my living room window with a perfect view of Gwen's house and my garage. At 9:45 a.m., like clockwork, she stepped outside wearing a ridiculous orange yoga outfit again, not the most subtle choice. She looked around, making sure no one was watching, and then, I couldn't believe it, pulled out a garage door remote from her purse and opened my garage. This wasn't just trespassing. She'd been using my garage for yoga sessions for who knows how long. So, I grabbed my phone and began recording. I knew I had to capture everything, every detail, every movement. I was done with the mystery. I watched for over an hour as she meditated, stretched, and even checked out my car, touching the hood like it was her own. She helped herself to a bottle of water from my mini fridge. Like she was the owner of the place. I couldn't stand it anymore. She didn't care. She didn't think she was doing anything wrong. And that's what pissed me off the most. After she left, I called my buddy Marcus in home security, and I thought he might know how she got the remote. Man, think back to when you moved in, he said. Didn't you hire that cleaning service to help you unpack? That's when it hit me. I had. And one of the cleaners, Gwen's son's ex-girlfriend. Rachel had worked there. She'd been fired for stealing stuff from clients. It all clicked. Rachel had probably stolen the remote and given it to Gwen. I called the cleaning company, and sure enough, the manager confirmed it. Rachel had been working there around the time I moved in, and they had fired her for theft. She was the one who had taken the remote from my garage, and Gwen had been using it ever since. That's when I knew it was time to confront her. I had Yves Denke now. I set up a plan Monday morning. I was going to confront Gwen in my garage. I'd catch her in the act. I was ready. Monday came, and I was waiting. At exactly 9:43 a.m. 2 minutes earlier than usual, there she was, stepping out in an even worse yoga outfit this time. I watched her approach the garage with that same sense of entitlement, like she owned the place. This time, though, I wasn't hiding. I walked outside and stood in the garage entrance. She froze, looking at me like I had just interrupted her sacred space. "Hey, Gwen," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "What exactly do you think you're doing in my garage?" She stared at me, totally caught off guard. "What are you talking about?" "This is just where I practice yoga." She shrugged, acting like it was no big deal. "I've been using this space for months now. I thought you wouldn't mind." "You thought I wouldn't mind?" I couldn't believe it. "This is my garage. You've been trespassing, Gwen. Using my space without permission, taking my things." I pulled out my phone and started showing her the footage of her using the remote, walking into my property like it was her own. Her face shifted. "That's a very strong accusation, Charlie." She rolled her eyes, acting like I was the crazy one. "Maybe you should focus on your own spiritual journey instead of worrying about material possessions. I'm just using this space to better myself." I was done. "No, this is about you using my stuff without asking. You're trespassing. You're stealing from me." And then it happened. She went off. "You're just some selfish guy with your fancy cars, and you don't even care about the people around you." "Well, I'm not the one who's stealing. You are." She snapped back at me, her voice escalating. "You're the one who's been harassing me, trying to take away my peace." And that's when I realized this wasn't just about yoga or a misplaced remote. Gwen was trying to manipulate the situation. She accused me of being selfish, of not understanding the community, even throwing in some racial comments about how I didn't belong in the neighborhood. I was done. "You're trespassing on my property, and I'm calling the cops." Her face changed then. "Oh, go ahead. You'll see. I've got friends in law enforcement, and they'll back me up. You're just jealous of me." She picked up her phone and called 911, accusing me of being a threat, of harassing her. I couldn't believe it. The cops showed up, and Gwen immediately started playing the VY Tim. "He's trying to take my peace away," she sobbed, pointing at me, claiming I was the one causing problems. Officer Harris, the one handling the case, listened to both of us. I showed him the footage, and he nodded, seeing the situation for what it was. "Gwen," he said, after reviewing everything, "you've been trespassing. You've been using a stolen remote to break into Charlie's garage. You're under arrest for theft and trespassing." That's when her whole act fell apart. She started screaming, calling it a witch hunt, saying I was targeting her because she was a single mother. But the truth was out. Gwen had crossed a line, and now there were consequences. At that point, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. I had stood my ground, and justice had prevailed. But something told me this wouldn't be the last time I'd deal with her. Gwen wasn't just a bad neighbor. She was a manipulative, entitled person who thought she could do whatever she wanted without consequences. So, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you have confronted her right away? Or waited for the right moment to get the EVY Denke? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about the boundaries we should set with the people around using what happens when they're crossed. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this.